Welcome to episode 2 of Tried and Actually Made a Meaningful Difference in My Business, also known as TAMDM. Today, we're going to be talking about one of, I think, the most overlooked tools for landing consistent, high-value design projects, which is your project proposal. So I want to show you how proposals can be an opportunity to show clients the elevated experience that they'll get by working with you. And it took me years and a lot of experimenting to land on an approach that A, consistently led to signed, high-value projects, and B, takes under 20 minutes to put together. So after trying just about every strategy, including skipping proposals entirely, which is something I'm going to touch on later, I finally found a method that has gotten enough results and positive client feedback that I feel confident sharing it with you. So I'm going to walk through what's on each page of my proposal template and the delivery method, which really makes all the difference. And I'm going to use web design as an example, but this really applies to any creative service. All of the materials that I reference in this video are available below if you want something that's already set up and has examples. But otherwise, if you already have a basic service offering, this is going to give you everything you need to get your own version set up. So let's dive in. Starting from the beginning. First page, this is just a cover. I really wouldn't overthink this. Date, client's name, your name. Page 2 is a personalized short note. This, I think, just adds a nice human element and gives you the opportunity to say why you're excited about this project. So whatever feels natural and authentic to you. I wouldn't try to be overly buttoned up here. If you're friendly and casual, just be friendly and casual. Okay, already on page 3, this is the last page of the kind of introductory, easing people in part of the proposal, and I'm going to tell you why this page is so critical. Generally speaking, we are sending a formal proposal to a client after talking to them on an introductory get-to-know-you call. This page is the opportunity to prove to the client that you really heard them. So every person or company that's hiring someone to build a website for them has slightly different priorities and motivations. Some people, I would say most people, care about improving conversion. Other people genuinely just want a sleek site because their competitors have one and they want one too. So regardless, this page is where you can say, I really listened to you and I'm going to approach this project with what is most important to you in mind. So typical goals or objectives that I might include here could be things like help X company establish a polished, conversion-driven online presence, or build a site that's optimized for scalability and growth. To be honest, all client goals and pain points generally fall into the same 8 or so categories. So I just have that list in my template and I usually remove the 4 or 5 that seem less relevant to that specific client, and I make a few small tweaks to personalize it. So now that we've set the stage and eased the client in, this is where we transition to the real meat of the proposal, and I'll show you what I do and do not include in there. This part of the proposal is all about what are you actually going to deliver and how. So this, of course, is going to be a bit different for designers depending on whether you're including things like branding as well as the website, but for me and for most web designers, it's going to look something like strategy and planning, actual design of the website, and build in whatever tool you use. So there's a reason I've come to structure this page in the way that I do, and this is that, once again, every client is just a bit different. So some people are going to skim this page. They've kind of already made up their mind about whether they're going to work with you, and they'll just go to the bottom where the price is, which ideally you've already talked about on your discovery call. Other clients will read every word, either because they're just very detailed or they might need to share this information with someone else on their team. So I designed this page for both types of people. Left side is kind of the quick overview, and then the right side is a more detailed breakdown. So as an example, in the second phase, for me, the design phase, I might list things like 2 unique homepage options, a prototype in Figma that includes up to 8 website pages, up to X rounds of feedback, etc., etc. Sometimes I will include 2 scope options if the client is still kind of deciding what they need or if they specifically ask for it, but Most of the time, I just propose one clear scope that covers what I believe they need. However, I do have the 2 scope option version in my template. So this page is the most detailed in the proposal. That's why it's kind of in the middle of the document bell curve. After this, I like to shift to something a little bit lighter that helps people visualize the process that we're going to go through and prevents them from getting overwhelmed. I do that with this next page, which is a simple timeline overview of the different project phases. So how long I estimate each phase will take, keyword estimate, and the main milestones or meetings involved in each phase. So this is stuff like kickoff meeting, full prototype walkthrough. These steps probably feel pretty obvious to us as designers, but for clients who have never gone through a project like this, it's just very reassuring to see what's coming and understand what to expect from the process. The next page is kind of optional, but I started including it after getting the same questions over and over, so it's a way for me to get ahead of those proactively. And the first part is expected costs. So for example, I work with Webflow, and I like to just give people a heads up of what an annual Webflow plan costs so that there's no surprises later on. Variable costs would be things like custom typefaces, specific app integrations, and then finally on the right, I just have a quick note about collaboration. Again, it feels kind of obvious to us as creatives, but I think it's worth saying that to deliver the work in the scope and stay on schedule, I am assuming that the client will be available to provide timely feedback and share the information that I need in order to build an accurate, well-informed site. So you can absolutely just include all of this in your contract, and you should have it in there regardless, but I like to have it on its own page as well, just to save time and clear up any questions before they come up. We're now done with the most dense part of the proposal, so now it's time to ease people out and end on a high note. The first wrap-up page I like to include is just a few testimonials. Now, if you're just starting out and you don't yet have testimonials, don't freak out. I talk about how to go about getting those in this video, so definitely check that out. But assuming you do have a few, I would just pick out a couple to include here, even if they're already on your website, because what you're essentially saying is, hey, this might sound like a ton of information in this proposal, but you can trust me. I've done this before with real clients who have had both real results and a great experience working with me. So you're in good hands. Then on the final page, you want to tell the client what exactly comes next. Make it as easy as possible for them to say yes and to know what exactly to expect once they do. So this is where I like to say, once you approve this proposal, I will send over the contract for signature and a link to schedule your kickoff call and a deposit to reserve your start date, blah, blah, blah. I have an email template with all of that ready to go, but I usually wait until I have the green light before I prepare that material and send it over just to confirm they're moving forward. Okay, now I want to tell you how I deliver proposals, which is maybe the most important part of this whole process. When it comes to delivery, what I like to do is record a short Loom video walking the client through the document. I definitely don't read every single page. I just quickly talk them through what they're seeing. So why bother with this? Because when someone hires you to design their website, they're not just choosing you for your portfolio. They're choosing you, a human that they're going to be collaborating with for the next few weeks or months. So as best you can, I think it's great to take an opportunity to show who you are. A line in a PDF that says, I would be delighted to work on this project with you, is just never going to have the same impact as them seeing you say, here's what I would be so excited to create for you, and here's how I would do that. If other designers are just sending over a static PDF, this to me is just such an easy way to stand out, and once your system is in place, recording a walkthrough only takes a couple of minutes. And an example walkthrough video is also included below in case you want an idea of the level of detail that I go into. An important thing to keep in mind is that as your business grows, there's something that will probably happen, which is that you'll begin encountering clients who essentially give a verbal yes to the project on your intro call. They'll tell you they want to move forward. So in those cases, I usually do one of two things. Either A, I will simplify the proposal, cutting non-essential pages like notes or testimonials, And on the final page, I will just include a link to the contract. Or B, if the client really has a sense of urgency and says, okay, how do we move forward? I will sometimes skip the proposal and just send through a contract. But when you're starting out, I think it's best to stick to a consistent system and template. And then as you gain experience, you develop a sense for what makes sense for each client scenario, and you feel confident making some adjustments. But until then, I would just lean on your system. It'll make everything smoother. I hope it's been helpful to get a view into mine. And if you want to check out how I go from approved proposal to final project delivery, check out one of the next videos to get a view into my exact process. Thanks.